Good morning. I'm on my way to work, which means it's time for another talk and walk. Have you ever noticed in, in films where you're looking down a path or a hallway or a row of trees or something like that, and all of a sudden everything starts to come closer together or it starts to pull farther apart, usually in scary movies? They accomplish that using what's called a deep focus lens, which actually is poorly named because there's actually lots of lenses that allow a camera to focus on more than one thing at a time. Anyone who knows their eyes knows that in order to focus on something and then focus on something farther away, you actually change the shape of your eye. Well, glass lenses can't do that, so they have to put several lenses together. And that's how they accomplish being able to focus on one person in the foreground and somebody else in the background at the same time, which is kind of handy, especially in television. Well, deep focus lenses, movie stuff aside, is interesting to me because I was thinking about all the different things that have happened in my life to get me where I am today and how I focus on life and how I think about things. And, for a while, there's another dog. There's lots of dogs. For a while there was issues with my physical health, issues with emotional health, issues with relational health, financial issues. And each of those times gave me the opportunity to learn to focus on that part of my life. But if I focused on only that part of my life, I would miss out on a lot of stuff. And so it's important that we learn to focus on more than one thing at a time. Some of us like to focus on moral issues and life is about what's right and wrong. Other people like to focus on intellectual issues. Life is about knowing or not knowing. Other people like to focus on social issues. Life is about being loved or not loved. And none of those are wrong. They're just not exclusive. They're not the only thing to focus on. You need a deep focus lens if you're going to look at life in clarity. If you have one lens and one lens only, you end up cheating yourself out of being able to see the foreground and the background. And sometimes the problems in our lives, whatever they may be, are there literally and just to give us the opportunity to learn how to focus on something we hadn't had to focus on before. I wouldn't have learned about charismatic theology and that God wanted to heal me and bless me if I had never been in a situation where I was poor and sick. And I'm not saying that God made me poor and sick. I'm just saying that he took that opportunity to show me that my life was out of focus in at least one area. So I had to take a look at that area and focus on it, change the shape of my eyes, if you will, and allow myself to see things through a different lens. So I want to encourage you, look at what lens you're looking at life today through. To take a look at yourself and say, what is most important to me to determine about life? What is most important for me to know? Is it what's right and wrong? Is it money and material things? And by the way, focusing on money and material, that's not bad. You do have to provide for your family. You do have to pay your bills and pay your taxes. That's part of life. But are those the only things you think about? Are those the most important things? And when you find the most important thing, which in my opinion is loving God and loving people according to Scripture, still, if that's the only thing you focus on, you might miss out on a few other things because you're only seeing part of life in focus. So be prepared, because I think God's going to expand your vision, and it might come through some unpleasant situations and unpleasant circumstances, but I encourage you to be prepared to open up your eyes and see life through different lenses and realize that it's okay to think about money. It's okay to think about relationships or the things that you're afraid of. It's okay to think about your emotional health and maybe seek a counselor. It's okay to think about those things, because when we have multiple lenses, then we can focus on more things at any given time and see life more clearly. That's it for today's Walk and Talk. We'll see you next time.